It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth.
It's you liberals who have lifted them up, Howard.
Paul, you conservatives make a mistake. You can't afford to strangle hope in people. Without hope, people become dangerous.
No, Howard. You liberals have let them invade our society. You give them jobs, political jobs.
Paul, you missed the point. It's only the smart ones we move up.
That makes it even worse.
No, we have to move them up. If we leave a smart one in the ghetto, he might develop into a leader against us. But if we raise him up into white society, we neutralize him.
It really boils down to our ability to accept. We don't need pessimism.
What he means by pessimism is resistance. And that's what COINTELPRO was all about, stopping the resistance.
I know you're out there. I can feel you now. I know that you're afraid. You're afraid of us. You're afraid of change.
We hide it in plain sight. One of Plato's greatest works was the allegory of the cave. I feel in order to understand the political matrix, we need only to look into this allegory. We first have to open our minds to the possibility everything is not as it seems, that things we've always known to be truth may be lies. For if we can't perceive the lies we've ingested, we can't see the bars on our mental conditioning. For that is how you walk out of the cave and see the political matrix. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Political Matrix. I am your host, Marcus, and Morpheus Cage. Teal is out this week. She's having a little fun, doing things that Teal likes to do. We bid her fun, and we look forward to her being back next week. But in her stead, I have a good friend of the show, Ed from GameDotFilm. We were on a panel together and talked about, hey, why don't you swing through? Well, he said, hey, you available? And I've been kind of wanting to have him back on, and we've kind of talked back and forth through DMs, on different stuff that he might be working on, and that he's, different book readings he's been doing, and some of the stuff he's wanting to plug and put out there. And so I think this is just a perfect match to have on. I'm gonna bug him and tease him a little bit because he talks about movies and film and hasn't had me on his show yet. But
soon.
But hey, welcome to the show, Ed.
Thanks for having me on, Marcus. Yeah, I saw you yesterday on Extra Bola, or the Undercurrent show, and yeah, it was a good time. And I was on your show. It's been a while, maybe like 4 months ago. So I think we're due.
Yeah, we definitely do. I brought up something, and we'll talk about a couple of different stories. I'll do like a little bit of a quick rundown on some of the news that's been going on. It looks like the horrific news that we had out of Venezuela, of the earthquake out there. There's still tens of thousands of people who are missing. So thoughts and prayers definitely to those people out there. And when they come up with some kind of relief effort, or place to donate, I'll definitely make sure to put that information out there. Japan has just had a massive earthquake also, and I think probably about I think I heard 8 people died so far. There's still a whole lot of people missing. So I've just been noticing a lot of crazy events that have been going on. There was a mass shooter in Idaho, of all places, at In-N-Out. I think 3 people dead, 7 people injured. But and then there's the stuff that's going on with the smears on Traore over there in Burkina Faso. And then of course we always have the nonstop stories of Russia, Ukraine, which that I want to dive into, and I want to talk about a little bit. So I guess the topics that I want to get into, because I can't have a man on there whose show is Game.Film and not talk some film with him. So we're definitely going to get into that for the funner second half of the show. But there are the news stories that I kind of saw that I've been wanting to take a look at. Some news that I saw that came out with Russia and Ukraine, and how that's starting to try to tie itself to the Iran war. I just think that that's kind of interesting. and some of the implications and dominoes. And as I bring this up, of course, I'll pass off to Ed and to get his thoughts on what's going on and how he views it. Also, what else? Another topic that I saw that really caught my attention. I put one about something having to do with brain chips. I'll just leave it at that for now because guys here again, that'll definitely be fun. And some of the other people who were on that panel, who I haven't had on the show yet, Ed, who does Chuck's UFO show, and who's a former member of Chicago's Corner. I haven't officially had him on the show, but I definitely want to try to reach out and do that. And
Jabari,
I definitely want to get him on the show also. So that's fun. So what was your thoughts? Some of your thoughts on the, let me see. Oh, I forgot. Dingo, shout out to Dingo also. And so, yeah, what were your thoughts on the panel? Definitely.
Yeah, I mean they're all great folks, man. I think everyone's doing like good news stories, good segments that's not talked about enough, because like corporate news, man, they all think we're 5 years old, dude. It's like,
yeah,
all the folks on there just we all kind of think alike, and probably don't agree on everything, but we talk about the important stuff that's not talked about out there. So yeah,
it was one thing that I kind of wanted to like about the whole debate thing, that I turned it into more of a topic than it was probably initially going to be. But I think it's important for us to talk to people that we don't necessarily agree with. And also, I would just think that the people who kind of lean to the left or consider themselves leftists, I think we tend to have a little bit of ideological purity sometimes. And because of that, we find that it's no value to even try to talk to some of these other people. And I think that's a mistake that we have. I think you always have strength in numbers. It's always more important. And so I think that we should always try to reach out and try to find ways, or even if it's, and because my viewpoint is, if we fight issue by issue, we'll get a lot more done than trying to come up with 30 things that we feel are important and try to fight for them all at once. You normally don't get everything at once. You normally have to fight for things bit by bit. You don't walk into a house that's fully furnished. I mean, you normally got to put, your furniture in little by little. And, hey, you might not have a new bed, and you got to buy a bed, and so it's the same thing with any other project. We can't just jump to, okay, now we're just going to have everything. So that's kind of why I think we should do the talking. Of course, it makes a difference on if you're talking to somebody who is an honest actor. I mean, everybody's not an honest actor out there, and I don't encourage people to jump into those kind of conversations. But I think that we should have more convo and debate in a sense. I wouldn't even say debate, just more convo. Because if I could, I would definitely probably every couple of months would love to get together with somebody who leans more to the right or libertarian and try to talk and find out where can we find points of agreement.
that would be as long as it's not trying to prove each other right all the time, but just kind of voicing your opinion and getting into fights. Yelling at each other.
I mean, we get into fights, and that's going to happen occasionally. Like, I hate that, a former friend of the show, we kind of, things ended on kind of a bad note. And I don't think that I was trying to go at him in a negative way, but he definitely took it very personally. And after that stream, like, he deleted like every episode me and the Political Matrix did on his show, and actually deleted a lot of his old catalog, and then blocked me and a bunch of us on all platforms.
Damn, dude, it is what it is. It sucks though.
Yeah, man. When I was out in his area, and I tried to hit him up beforehand because I was like, man, can we, off camera, get together and have a drink, and just talk about some things, and maybe you could show me a couple of places to go and cool things or whatever. And he was like not interested in conversating with me at all.
Damn, man. That's a shame, man. Can't work it out, but don't
Yeah, I'm
stress
like, it's
about it.
just some internet stuff, man. You really took it that personal on whatever. I mean, hey, who knows how different people are going to react to different things.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Here, I'm gonna give this one to you. Oh, where'd it go? Oh no, I wanted to say here this one first. Um, Chris H says libertarians are cool on civil liberties and war issues, but they get tripped all the way up on capitalism. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's like I don't know of too many libertarians in my life, but it's like if you're pro cop and like um you just kind of want to clean up a little bit here and there, but keep capitalism going at full speed. It's like, come on, man. How you think we got here? Like, you can't be can't really what is it, more of a reform position?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of has to be torn down a little bit, so yeah, not but civil liberties, yeah, that's cool. I mean, I guess I'll agree with libertarians on that stuff.
I gotta read this one out because this one is what I start chuckling about. Oh Lord, bad cookies. This is what bad cookies had. Actually, let me click this so the chat will be streaming. See Wesley in the building. What's up, Wesley? Um, Bad Cookie said, I wouldn't block you, Marcus. I would French kiss Marjorie Taylor Greene whilst rubbing baby oil on her broad shoulders before I block you, man. Wow.
Yeesh.
I mean, she might be down for it. And I can hook that up for you, Bad Cookies, if you like.
Man, a little too old for my taste, but yeah, a little kooky, little kooky,
little too on the manly side for me. That's what I'm thinking.
I agree.
But yeah, I guess let me start off on that first story. So for those who didn't hear, I don't know if anybody else has really caught this attention, but did you hear that Ukraine actually struck Ukraine struck Iran?
I didn't hear that.
And so I'll ask you your thoughts. Why do you think that they would do that?
I mean, I guess they're part of the NATO gang, or they're part of like
No, they're not part of NATO.
Oh, they're not. Or I guess they were trying to make it or something, but it's but I guess they're in the back pocket of like the US and Israel. I guess I bet that's better to say it that way.
I think what they're doing, and I could be wrong, and in the chat, if you guys have other theories, let me know. And I think news that just came out recently with Zelensky, where he's asking about interceptors, that he has no interceptors, and Russia has been hitting a lot of their major areas with with ballistic missiles. I think what's happening is it's getting to a desperation point in that war where they may not be able to hold on too much further. I mean, they've already been trying to do things that I felt like they were some of the attacks that they've been taking into Russia. I think that those attacks that they've been doing, they were hoping for Russia to take a similar attack, because they've been attacking places that are domestic, that are civilians and stuff like that also. And I think they've been trying to goad Russia into an attack that would be considered over the line by the US and NATO to try to trigger them to get into the war. Well, I think that failed. So them attacking Iran, I think that's a second attempt at trying to broaden the war by saying, look, we attacked your enemy, so why don't you help attack my enemy? Because your enemy is my enemy. And I think that's a underhanded way where Zelensky is trying his best to widen this war and get the United
Mm-hmm.
States or NATO involved. And I think right now with President Trump, that he's a president that they feel that they're looking at all these other countries which have gotten Trump to do things in their favor, that you can manipulate him to a degree. Now, I believe with Trump, if you manipulate him, you gotta be tying money to it also. You have to be, sending some cash his way, and then maybe he will be, into it. But I think that if I think this is something to keep an eye on. Not that I think it's going to be necessarily successful, but if it has a possibility of being successful, this could be another way where we see the front in this war escalate tremendously.
Yeah, I probably agree with you there. You gotta like poke the bear kind of thing, and they're just like itching to like let Iran do something back as an excuse to like ramp it up. Same
Mhm.
with Russia. So that I agree on for sure.
Yeah, and somebody said they like that I didn't name names, but they're dying to know. And I mean, I don't want to name names because I mean, I don't know. Maybe I don't want any people to look at that person negatively. Maybe they listen or watch them. And for those that don't know in this podcasting space, I don't know if you've really run into this, Ed, or not. And if you have, I mean, you can speak on it if you if you want to. If not, you can be like, I'm not touching that. But there are plenty of us who collab and talk together, and there are beefs that go on behind the scene that many people don't know about. And you might watch this content creator or that content creator and enjoy both content, but don't realize like that these people outside of things don't really, that there's a rift that's happened. And maybe there's a reason why that person hasn't been on another person's show, that other person's show in a while. Sometimes it's nothing. Like there are people who show that I haven't been on in a while, and I think it's just because they have a whole lot going on and they're busy. One person I can speak on that it's all good, no bad blood. Nico House, for instance. Me and Nico get along very well. We collab very well. I think we have good chemistry on screen. It's just logistically, because of his location and because of where I am, it makes it hard for us to link up because of time schedules.
Right,
And
right.
so that's one of the reasons why you don't see me and Nico very often. We actually behind the scenes were working on trying to do something together like a while ago. But sometimes when you don't see people collab anymore or whatever, it may be because there's some logistical problems. Sometimes
Hmm.
it's more than that. Sometimes there are people where, there have been a lot of like, there's been literal fights, like not physical fights, but there's
Hmm.
been some fighting, some cussing each other out through phone calls and emails that you guys listening to these different channels are not always privy to.
Yeah, that's cool. I would assume y'all get along. I would never assume y'all had any beef, but I
Mm-mm.
mean, I'm sure there's a lot of clout chasers and infiltrators, God forbid, feds or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, just trying to rip us all apart, from the inside. So, and some adults act like children sometimes. So it's just,
Yeah.
or they have real life things going on, mental health issues, and they're not thinking straight that one week or something. So it's yeah, but
Especially when they start doing like some of these channels that are networks. When you get involved in the network, sometimes there's money involved, and we always know money
oh shit,
involved.
money.
You know,
Uh,
it can always tear apart some of these partnerships. So I'll leave it at that on that topic and not touch any more on it, because I do know of a situation where it's literally like it's like civil suits and stuff like that involved. So, some of these situations are, you know, it's a small reason why people aren't working together, and some of them is a big reason. So we'll leave
Some
it at
people
that.
just don't like people. They just
Yeah, I mean,
like I do pest control,
uh
dude, and I see like 10 houses a day, and there's just that one customer that just they don't like me. They just for some reason just don't vibe with you or just don't like you, period.
well,
It's
yeah.
like out of left field, but it's
No,
weird.
there's some people that I don't have a problem with, but also I don't see how what I do like works well. They do, and or what we're talking about is just so massively different. I don't know how to like, you know what I'm saying? It's like trying to do double dutch and not know where to jump in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Some
I
people, it's
agree.
just not a natural gelling.
Mm-hmm. All that jelly, but no toast. Training
And
day.
shout out to some of our other friends who I see came into the building. I see Rick is here. I see Lady Alex is here also. Nahilo's in the building. And Wesley.
My cat.
Always good to see Wesley. So I think
Mm.
it's kind of interesting. So going from the Russia Ukraine going to the Iran war stuff, um, it's kind of interesting how Trump wants to constantly escalate. But we're running at a point where I'm wondering. Actually, this is what I'll do. I'll pose this as a question to you. How do you see this going? At a certain point, last I've heard that we're under 40 days before we run low on our oil supply. Before we're sitting on fumes on our oil supplies. How long before there's a switch in or change from the Trump administration? I mean, we're low on interceptors at the point where we're just vacating some of our US bases that are in the Middle East completely because we can't defend them. Um,
Dang, I didn't know that.
yeah, it's that bad. That latest attack that they had in Jordan, where um, it's believed that they're lying about the casualty numbers. I mean, they're really only telling you when.
Oh.
Here's the thing about it: casualty numbers are not always deaths. When we're talking casualty numbers, like at least in the military wise, we're talking casualty numbers, not always the people who die. It's everybody who was attacked, everybody who was hurt. Um, and then you break up, okay, casualties that die, casualties just that are injured. We're only hearing about like, oh, we've had this many troops that have died. We're not hearing how many are getting like, you know, injured, like, to the point where, okay, they need to be processed out of the military and they're just going to be on medical, be a medical
Yeah.
retirement because their disability is now going to be so massive. We're not hearing about all of these injuries that are happening also. I also think that they're actually lying about the amount of soldiers that we have dead on top of that. And so
Friendly fire, AWOL.
I'm sure there's definitely plenty of that going on too. But
Yes, that's like that. I'm always curious what they're not telling
well,
you.
I think when they're saying that we have 3 dead, I think that what about the ones who are on life support who end up dying a couple of days later? That, okay, we've moved on from that story and we're not talking about it anymore. I think some of
Mm.
those casualties have definitely been hidden, where just like if it was a mass shooting, like I brought up about that mass shooting in and out in Idaho. Uh, yeah, a couple of days later, if a fourth person dies, the news reports that. On some of these things, they're not reporting that, and that's something I've known the military for a long time to not do. I would say since the early days of the Iraq War and Afghanistan War, they haven't like did follow up casualty counts.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder how many troops are actually dying. I know that we're low on interceptors also, and that's something that Zelensky was asking for. We're low on interceptor numbers. We can't send them to anybody else. We've actually taken interceptors from some of our other bases, and we've taken interceptors which we have already sold to some of our allies because we're running low on them and had to cancel their orders. So I don't know how we would send these to Ukraine, being that most of them are going to Israel. So, oh, that's right. I said it was a question. Let me find the question in there. With all that I said, how long do you think this goes before the Trump administration has to accept the reality of things and come to a ceasefire? And, I mean, how long do you think that they have before they have to reckon with reality? Because once we go over that 40 days, gas prices are going to explode. Also, we can't keep up the attacks, and we can't defend all of these territories. And as it ramps up, things are going to get out of control even more. And we're right before the midterms are right around the corner. So how long do you think they can keep this up?
Man, I mean, I'm sure Trump's just a puppet, you know. War is big business, so you got to keep that money train going at you know, it never stops. So, but it's like the American people, you know, with so much information out there, you know, we're gonna find out or get privy to it, but so many people are misinformed, and corporate media is pretty good at, you know, sweeping things under the rug. So it's like, I don't know, man. Like maybe Trump crashes and burns and looks like a total fool, and gas prices and standard of living goes even way worse, and then they just play that card like, oh, Trump's a failure, let's bring in the next puppet. You know what I mean? So
I mean, I hear what you
can't really say how much longer though. But how many more months does he have?
I mean, well, I honestly think that no matter what Trump does, he's going to end up being a lame duck after this session, because I think he'll definitely lose the House. And well, it's not like he's been trying to push legislation anyway. He's been doing everything through executive order, and all that's going to do is just keep getting the stuff tied up in the courts. And I think even after the midterms, you know, let's fast forward that 2 years. I don't see any way that the next Republican that runs has a chance in hell at winning. I think that the brand is just too badly destroyed right now, and I think all Republicans down ballot are going to suffer. And I foresee a possibility where the Democrats are going to be running a lot of investigations. That's what they're probably going to spend all of 2028, 2029 doing. Investigations. Not 2020, yeah, 2028, 2029. I would say even 2030. That's what they're going to be doing. And I do agree. Like, I guess my purview on it is, yes, Trump is a puppet, and he kind of was more selected than elected. But I do think the day-to-day on certain issues, they give the president a little bit of leadway. It's just on certain things, they just kind of come in and then a hard foot down on, no, you will do this. So I just wonder how far, because I mean, well, Trump could never, he could never acquiesce to it and just take that, hey, I'm going to get, we're going to get slaughtered in the midterms any damn way. So I'm going to stay the course. Fuck it.
Yeah, big false flag incoming, maybe. Got to rally, get them president points up. Get behind him. I don't know.
I don't know. Man. I mean, I think it's a situation where it's just going to look really, really bad soon on all fronts. I just saw another massive attack that the Israelis have just done on Gaza, and so any attempts any attempt that Trump's administration are trying to do with the ceasefire, it seems like the parties that are involved are making sure this is not going to happen. There will be no ceasefire.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there ever will be on that one. They're not stopping until it's just all theirs.
Yeah, I 1000% agree with you on that. I think that's where we're going. That eventually it's all just going to be Israel, West Banks included. And I'm wondering how long before, over under when they attack the Al-Aqsa Mosque, how long before they obliterate that? I mean,
Any day, man. It's
I
a
give
pretty
them
scary thought.
I give them maybe another year before they go to that point. But I definitely think I don't think the Al-Aqsa Mosque goes another 2 years before it's not obliterated. And at that point, I think that leads to full all-out war in the Middle East.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, gotta. We'll see what happens, man. It's a scary thought, but I don't know how's Iran doing right now. I haven't been keeping up.
Well, from what I've seen with Iran is they're kind of more holding the position of we got enough missiles that keep launching and we got enough drones to keep attacking. They're not even really attacking Israel so much these days. What they're attacking more than anything, they've been attacking U.S. bases in the Middle East, and they've been attacking U.S. corporations that are in the Middle East.
Oh,
So
nice.
they've attacked a lot of Elon Musk's companies that are in the Middle East. Many of those that are used to aid Starlink and some of the tracking that they've been using.
Gotcha, man. Good for
So,
them.
so yeah, it's anybody who's been doing business in the Middle East who's a Western company. I move your shit while you can, or don't move it
Man.
and let it get obliterated. I Trump keeps talking about going into Karg Island. And I don't know how much you followed into that, but you familiar with like the whole Karg Island thing and why they keep talking about Karg Island?
Not familiar with that one.
Well, is Karg Island is one of Iran's. It's kind of more where their refineries are, and what they use, and the refineries are a big part of um, their domestic economy. That's kind of how that's kind of how they keep a lot of their wealth going.
Mm.
And so if they went after that, that would directly threaten the economy of the country. Now,
Mm.
Trump is talking about putting boots on the ground to go in there because they already struck Carr Island once, um, but they stayed away from the refineries. If they go into the refineries this time, they would have to try to hold that position or try to destroy them. And I wonder how long before, you know, I wonder how long before Iran starts to actually, start firing ballistic missiles at U.S. naval vessels. How much before they actually start, instead of just hitting these outpost bases, which are a little easier targets, and they're partially evacuated, many of them. How long before you start hitting naval vessels that start costing in the billions and start taking out a higher, because they get hit with these ships get hit with a ballistic missile, you're going to start seeing much higher casualty rates.
Yeah, man. Those are some big ships. Big
Mm-hmm.
ass ships, and just you do some casualties, the TV will run with it, and then billions of billions. Oh, let's build some more bombs. We gotta justify to go after them even more, like full out World War III type of shit. But
That's where I see us going. I mean, and in all honesty, to anybody, if they've watched, you know, my coverage on any of this stuff, I've been talking about we're heading towards World War III, for going on what, say 6 years now. I've already been
Mhm.
and I've been talking about all the different ways that I see that it's setting up, and all the places I've talked about that it was been setting up from are all the points that it's setting up. So for me, it's kind of been a little surreal watching everybody else now focusing on the part of the world that I've been focusing on pretty much most of my political, before even having a YouTube channel, just some of the stuff that I've always been focused on back to when I was with Vote Vets.
Mm. Oh yeah,
So,
your
no,
next vet. That's right.
yeah,
I forget about that.
yeah, what I saw while in the military is what made me want to get into a movement that pushed against military conflicts abroad.
Yeah, gotta bring the troops home, man. Stop endless war. For
Yeah,
sure.
like I was always in the mindset of, if it's like a World War II situation, like a Pearl Harbor situation where we're being directly attacked, um, then that's a different story. And I understand the need for the military to get involved and fight, even though us getting involved in World War II might have been a false flag to get it all started. Um, I still think once they start attacking on our own soil, you do have a right to defend yourself. That's the same as like if I just walked up and punched you in the face, you'd have every right to punch me back. I mean, so it just comes into a self-defense type thing, and so I don't have the no wars at any cost. I don't have that mentality, because
Right,
that's like
right.
saying don't defend yourself. Like, most people would still defend themselves, right?
Yeah, I'm not a pacifist, but like I'm like anti-imperialist, so it's like there's gonna be like scumbags, colonizers out there that are gonna like kill you. So
Yeah.
you gotta be prepared. You gotta do something. Can't just sit back.
Like I say all the time, I'm not a pacifist. I'll pass a fist.
Nice, nice. I like that.
But that's what's going on in those war fronts, and so we're kind of caught up on that. Um, what was the next topic that I wanted to bring up to you? I mean, let me go back to my cheat sheet.
Idaho or something.
Oh yeah, that was the In and Out thing that happened. Oh, let's see. Okay, let me send this. Let me send this to. Hopefully this plays. I gotta show you guys this, because it just gave me such a laugh, such a chuckle, that I want to share with everybody else so you guys can laugh with me. It's a conspiracy theory that I had never heard this at all, but a conspiracy theory on why we actually started the Iran war. And when I heard that somebody actually believed this, I could not believe my ears. Oh shoot, if I guess my signal doesn't want to behave. All right, let me close that. If I can't get this to play, then I'll just tell you guys what I've heard. Well, let's see. Make sure that my Wi-Fi is not on. Okay, my Wi-Fi is not on. Actually, let me try turn Wi-Fi. Maybe that'll help. I don't know. I've been trying to hardline in, so hoping that works better. So I did a little speed test, and my speed test was a little down. So let me close that and try it one more time. If not, I'll just tell you guys. But you ever watched The Daily Show?
Like Jon Stewart or some shit, or
Well, now it's what's his name?
Noah or
Josh.
something.
It's Josh something who's now doing The Daily Show.
Not lately. I mean, maybe years ago.
Josh Johnson. Oh, hold on a second. I got it here. And so I got it. So let me show you guys. Let me show y'all this, because I know many people, after Jon Stewart left years ago, it went to Trevor Noah for a while. A lot of people didn't like watching it. And now it's Josh Johnson, I believe. So let me just share this with you guys because this was freaking hilarious. Every now and then we need a little laugh, right? So here I'm gonna mute up and play.
Wrong is because of the Stargate.
Oh, I was going to say oil.
Yes, there's the oil, but what I know is Iran sits on a Stargate.
Stargate, like the Kurt Russell movie?
Yeah.
That's right, a Stargate. In case you don't remember the 90s Kurt Russell movie with 53% on Rotten Tomatoes, a Stargate is an underground portal across the universe. And Marie, a public speaker and author, says that this powerful energy is what drew Trump into starting a war in Iran, leading to one obvious question. How the hell did Iran get a Stargate?
What happened 12,000 years ago when Atlantis fell?
Wait, what does Atlantis have to do with Stargate?
Iran's Stargate 10, it closed because of the civilization of Atlantis, that a lot of souls now on planet Earth have a thread from that timeline. So we are now returning back on the spiral, but from a higher state of consciousness.
I mean, this is actually a clearer perspective on why the war in Iran is happening than we've been getting from the Trump administration.
Yeah.
So now we have to open up the Stargate and the Strait of Hormuz.
Right, yeah.
But some Iran experts have more out there theories for the war.
The president made a series of decisions that I think are probably mistakes about the best way of dealing with Iran's nuclear program, missile program, support for terrorist proxies, and human rights related issues. That is the reason why we are in a conflict with Iran today.
Do you think the Trump administration has reasons for war that they're not sharing?
Well, I mean, if you're talking about the nuclear program.
I am talking about a energy source, perhaps under Iran.
I think the word you're reaching for is oil.
And
are you reaching back to our historic animosity, or?
I'm talking about Stargate, man.
Okay. What about Stargate?
You're an expert and you know about Iran.
Yeah.
You got to know about the Stargate.
Well, I've seen the movie, if we're talking about the movie.
No, underneath Iran is the Stargate. It's this like millennia old energy field. And the war is really about that, right?
No.
The real reason that we are at war with Iran is because of the Stargate.
I don't know. I just wanted to have a little fun with you. What did you think about that?
I mean, I was laughing because that's what I thought of the Kurt Russell movie.
Yes.
That's where my mind immediately went to.
Yes, that there's an actual Stargate.
Oh, man.
Are people trolling us?
Somebody really believes that? It's like, come on, man. Mm-mm.
Well, I mean, the one I told Till about last week, or was it last week or week before, about the whole Atlantis and the Atlantean thing. I don't know. Have you heard about that?
I don't think so. But
there's a movement of people who believe that that the people of Atlanta actually originate from Atlantis because Atlantis was originally where Atlanta is. Thus, how Atlanta got its name because it was actually Atlantis.
Wow. I'm a loss of words on that one, dog. I don't know.
I mean, hey, this is the stuff that I don't know. Obviously, you have not been spending enough time going through these TikTok streets.
I mean, YouTube rabbit holes. Now there's like TikTok rabbit holes where the videos are shorter and more addictive. It's like, Jesus, I can see people just going down spiral.
Yeah, between
Crazy
TikTok and X right now, I think everybody's losing their fucking minds.
X is bad just because I feel like that algorithm is just they bury everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it's any social media site, but X is really bad. And the AI shit is I immediately scroll past the AI stuff, man. God, that's a real headache and just scary looking when some AI videos just they don't even try hard.
I just stay away from it because it's so. X now has become 4chan.
No, I don't even look at the main timeline. I make a bunch of lists. I've got my lefty group one, lefty content creators, movie content creators, a little bit of sports, and I just click those lists and just check out my moods, or what I'm really into. Like the main timeline, never ever don't look at the main timeline. No, it's bad for you.
Wesley's like, Elon got you calling it X. Honestly, they should just call it Elon's triple X because you just put anything on there, like anything on there.
Like in U.S. Steel became like it's just called X or something. Like that's what Elon's trying to emulate. It's like, come on, cornball.
He wants to make everything X. I don't know what the dude's fucking weird problem is with that X, but he thinks Twitter, it sounds cool.
Still call it Twitter.
Yeah, I agree with this one right here. I don't get on there because it's toxic as hell. It is just a lot of garbage people on there. Now, if you're one of the people who you're getting on there mainly for sports or you're getting on there for film and all that,
breaking news is really good because you follow the right journalists. They break stuff like within seconds.
Yeah, but there's so much fake stuff on there, and there's so many people putting everything as a breaking news story.
That's true. I just try and follow the right people and block or unfollow the others.
Like I honestly feel like he took that, and that's something that I think hopefully happens, that he's forced to have to sell it. I'm hoping he's forced to have to sell it. I know a lot of people hated some of the censorship that they got under Jack Dorsey, but it at least felt like there was some attempt to try to like color within the lines to a degree. Like you couldn't just like take a story that was from 10 years ago and pretend it's a new story and go out and just push that around and it get millions of views. Like there was a degree of that, but it would still get like stopped. Like I still felt like the media before that would either lie by omission, like they just wouldn't tell the whole story or only focus on certain stories that they wanted to be a point and ignore everything else that was going on. But at least you were allowed to talk about that. And then there's another thing. People who you wanted to follow on there, you heard what they were posting out. If you were posting something out, I would be able to see what you're posting. Now I'm getting fed people who I don't give a damn what they think. I don't want to hear anything they have to say. In fact, there are big right-wing accounts on there, which I have blocked, that they still show me their stuff.
Right? That's fucking bullshit, man. They want you outraged as much as possible. Look at your screen just a little bit longer. Get a little more angry.
I have Elon Musk blocked, and I still see all his shit. Like, I don't care about your opinion. I don't want to hear none of this. I know your only goal is to just aggravate and piss people off and then rile up your racist base. I know that. You guys
can see what Elon said? I'm like, dude, no.
Yeah, I'm like, go do your racist bullshit over there. I don't want to be involved in it.
Like that.
And then you can't, and no matter what you talk about on there, you can't post anything. Well, at least for me, I can't post anything, or I can't read through anything that's close to black. It don't even have to be black related, where you're gonna hear the N-word thrown or some racist comment within. You can count maybe 4 or 5 comments. Racist
There's
comment.
bots that it's an auto N-word reply. It's just automatic.
I think a lot of it is burner accounts from like actually racist people who just want to hide too.
That is true, actually. It's even worse. But yeah, it's still a good tool, man. Twitter's still a good tool. Like I have a dedicated list for like a dozen Palestine accounts, and I just take 5 seconds to log in and like and retweet a big Palestine story or tweet, and a GoFundMe, you know. So there's still some
Well,
good things to do with it.
that can still get pushed right now because the energy on there is to go after the adversary of the Palestinians, if you know what I'm saying. And so those people don't like the people who are attacking them for other reasons. It makes it convenient for them to back the Palestinians. So it's like the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Gotcha. Yeah, like showing like what they really get mad about is like okay, you retweet a Israeli war crime, but if you like show something pro Hamas or pro Hezbollah, then taking out an IDF soldier, that's what they hate the most, of them like losing, of like them getting shot up or something.
Oh yeah. You put Israel getting their ass kicked in any kind of way. That right there, or anybody getting exposed.
Yeah.
It's like I saw in the Knesset that Netanyahu was just getting booed and everything from his own Knesset. I could not find that story. I mean, I had to literally go through page after page after page of searches on Google and through YouTube to try to find it, when it literally happened like 2 days before.
And the search engines are awful, dude.
Yeah.
Google, Twitter's the worst. I'm just looking for like a movie clip I posted 3 years ago, and it used to be super easy. I type my @name and the title of the movie, and like I used to find it like that. I can't find nothing. Search engine is totally broken.
It's even that way for everything. Like, I have a big problem with it even when I'm at work. Just the way the search engine is. Let's say I'm looking for. Give a good. I'm just throw a random. Let me look around, find something random. Okay, Disneyland. I'm trying to search Disneyland, or I'm trying to search Six Flags, and because Disneyland has bought more advertisement, I'm getting Disneyland ads. Disneyland, how to go to Disney, how to go to Disney, how to go to Disney. I'm like, I'm looking for Six Flags, not Disney.
Yeah,
and I gotta go down.
money.
Yeah, I gotta go down. To the 10th option to find the one about what I'm looking for now, because it doesn't matter on what you were searching for. It just matters who in that similar field paid the most money to be at the top of the algorithm.
Right. And that works with like Yelp too, like smaller businesses that are killing the review game. And then, okay, you Google a business, you need a service, but then like the lesser reviewed ones that just pay ad money, like they'll be at the top. Yeah. Super bad right now. Everywhere.
So that was that story. I guess it kind of buffered a little, but I don't know if this story is real. I pray this story's not real. Have you heard that they're trying to come up with an option for prisoners who have committed violent crimes to get a chip in their head that will simulate the years that they've been locked up and rehabilitate them instead of the prison time?
Man, I mean, they have clamped down on just trying to get round up as many people in jail already, prison, and the ankle bracelets and the parole officers, they've got them clamped down already. Like they're tracking them like to the T. So I guess like let's see, they're always trying to like track people as much as possible, man. They're crazy. I don't know what I never put it past what crazy white people do or our oppressors are thinking, So
yeah, I mean, I saw it on one of these things. I don't know if it's true or not, but I'm like, you never know. And that's another thing that's hard. Before any of this stuff that was clearly fake, it would have been something, some kind of note to it telling you this is fake, this is bullshit, ignore. Not anymore. Now, now legitimate information is being pushed out on the same level with fake information, and it's hard to discern anything, or just clipped, information that's not, not telling the whole story. I saw a story about this officer. I think it was in Florida, where you had a Hispanic cop who ran up on this black guy, and she's like flipping out on him, telling him to get to the ground, and trying to, like, cuff him and all this stuff like that. And he's like, I'm just working here. I'm working here, to farm the outrage. Well, later on, when you see what's going on in the story, there's an active shooter going on. Do you want to know how close they were to the active shooter?
I mean, you got to be pretty close to hear a gunshot, right?
There was a van right next to them. The active shooter was on the other side of the van. And so they framed it from the racist cop coming after a black man treating him unfairly. And of course, that's going to catch attention, and I'm going to be like, what the hell is going on? Until I find out that they don't know how many and I know from the other side of it, understanding the policing, law enforcement side of things, because I did I did have some of that training while I was in the military, and I did work in corrections, and so I've heard some of the other sides of some of these stories and been able to actually see camera footage of, like, the whole thing instead of clip stories. Just doing this channel long enough, watching some of the full videos. I always wait till I have a full story before I start, commenting on things. And when you're pulling up to a situation like that, you don't know how many shooters it is. You don't know why this person is shooting. You're just coming to the scene and trying to secure. And if you're not the primary on the shooter, they'll take secondary officers and have them lock down and secure the scene. So some are saying, hey, you can't come into this area, stay back, providing a perimeter. Also, other units who are going in, who trying to suppress certain people, saying, hey, you guys need to stay still, don't move, kind of a shelter in place kind of situation, which they do for mass shooters a lot, so that they can isolate this person and either get them to surrender or neutralize them, which oftentimes they ended up neutralizing them. But when you, like, the video, when they show the guy shooting, you literally see the two guys. It was a black guy and it was a Hispanic guy, who were doing some work right there. You see both of the guys on the other side of the van laying on the ground, like ducking from the shooting, while the guy is actively shooting at the police.
Damn.
And it's just like how they play around with the algorithm, having information that they know that, okay, it makes this officer look bad. And I just want to put out there, I am not trying to cape for cops. Make sure everybody knows that. I definitely feel the police need to be demilitarized. I think that we need to take that money and put it into mental health officers. I think that we need
defunding, abolish.
Well, see, if we go full abolish, then what do we put in place?
Yeah, I guess it's more of a dream, but absolutely defund. Yeah.
Yeah, I say what I always say is I say demilitarize, because we still need a certain form, but do we need them all riding around in fucking tanks and all the equipment that they have? No.
Stopping speeders, harassing homeless people. Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of stuff needs to go away. We need to have mental health professionals who are going out there and talking to the homeless. Now, maybe you can have an armed unit that is meant to back up those people if they get into a sticky situation. I mean, you might, when you have mental health, you don't know what these people, how they might react. Somebody might think that you're aliens who are coming to fucking attack them, and they start attacking you. So you might need somebody to run in there and, hey, subdue this person. I'm not talking about come in and put holes in them, but at least just kind of get them to the ground. Buddy, calm down, relax. We're not here to
They
harm you.
don't de-escalate nothing. Just
Well, that's
their
another
life's
thing
in
that
danger, so they blast them.
well, that's another thing that I
Yeah.
would put a lot of money into. Like, it's crazy when you understand how the military works and you spent time criticizing the military, like I did myself being former military, and then you compare the police, compare the military to the police.
Mm.
How much worse restraint that police officers have compared to military is mind-boggling to me. Like, police officers, I mean, military shows far more restraint than the police do.
Mm-hmm.
And most of these military members we're talking about are 19, 20, 21 years old versus a 35-year-old cop who's been on the force for 15 years.
Mm-hmm. I never thought of it that way.
Yeah, I see a corollary says most police are ex-military. Yeah, but most of the ones who are involved in these shootings are not. Most of these ones involved in these shootings are not ex-military. Because when you're dealing with somebody who is military, you know that you're used to a certain level of things being rigid and they need to be a certain way. The everybody all yelling at the same time on the scene, you put 4 cops together who are former military, you will not have that situation.
Interesting.
Because one is going to know, oh, wait a minute, he's the sergeant, let him give the instructions and orders. Now you can't have a bad.
I do.
Well, I just know how military members move, and when you've gotten mentally beat down the way military members are, and a form of brainwashing, you lend to that chain of command, good or bad. So I'm not saying it's always going to be good. You might all operate in a coordinated way, in a negative way. But you don't see the all yelling over each other, all stepping over this, you see a level of training that's very different in the way that they move. Whereas in the civilian world with police officers, they go through their little training and throw it all out the fucking window the moment they get any level of stress.
Right. I just assume every cop is like some of the dumbest mofos on the planet. Not to generalize them, but that's just how I feel.
Shut up, bad cookies. I'm former Navy. Quit picking on me. But
yeah, ACAB for sure, man. You won't catch me doing reforms or something like that.
I look at back in the day when they had community policing, it made a difference. When you're doing community policing, you know the people in your community. You go up and try to talk to them. You have more humanity towards those people in your community. And like I heard a statement, and it's from a show, but granted, the show was from a cop. Cop was one of the writers of the show, and they said it's the difference between soldiering and policing. And a lot of cops are doing what they call soldiering, treating it as if they're going into a battlefield and everybody's the enemy. Versus policing, where you're trying to get information. You're not trying to always go and crack heads open and do all that. It makes a difference in how you approach and how you move. And you're trying to get the felons, you're trying to get murders, you're trying to get, actual real criminals. You're not going around treating every person who like rolls to a stop sign or doesn't put their blinker on as if, they're this, top level fucking terrorist or something. And that's the difference with our police right now. I don't know. Did you ever watch The Wire?
Yeah.
Remember how the one cops, they were about the investigation, and you had other cops who were worried about street rips? That's the mentality where most of our cops now are the street rips types. They're just running around trying to get their numbers. Let me lock up who I can. Let me go ahead and harass everybody. And then I know you got some shit in here that's dirty. And it's
Quota,
kind of
get the
funny.
numbers up.
Yeah, all to get the numbers up. They're not actually looking for real criminals. They're not looking for the real crime. They're looking for what can I just lock somebody up for? As long as I get my numbers up. And that's what I'm saying. If you had that approach, and just like it showed on The Wire, many of those cops were only worried about advancement, numbers and advancement. They weren't caring. Every time they got close to like trying to really lock down a real criminal, the bulk of the cops around them were, man, fuck that. I don't really care about that as long as I get my numbers. Or it was the bosses literally trying to stop them from doing real police work.
Gotta politicize it. Or
let me go after. Let's go after street corner hustlers. Yeah, go after street corner hustlers. So my arrest shows I locked up this many people.
Yeah, sad shit, man.
And if you even go back to, well, I don't think policing in America has really ever been on that. Maybe like the FBI kind of focused that way in a sense. And there's probably 5% of police units that they all have like some kind of major crime squad that might go after like a high level drug dealer in an area. But most of it is street rips, pulling over, fishing expeditions, whatever I can catch on you. So yeah, in that respect, yes, I definitely am not sympathetic to cops, but I think that there's something that they can find to give us a better quality of policing out there. I'm not going to say we're ever going to love the police. I don't ever see that reality, but
they definitely could be better. Slave patrols.
Yeah.
So,
but I'll also, like, when I really try to think about it, I propose this, like, if they were to completely get rid of policing, what do you do with murderers? What do you do with rapists?
Right.
Because they don't go away because the police goes away.
Right. I guess getting into social services and mental health issues to, get people not so effed up to begin with. Don't put them in desperate situations. And
I get you, but that's something that you can't do retroactively. You can only focus on the next generation. So what do you do about the millions of people who are already out there and screwed up?
Yeah, I guess in a perfect world, your neighborhood and community, if y'all were like, tight knit, everybody maybe are armed, but they all trust each other, and then they can all do detective work together. In a perfect world, I guess, But.
Well, that's the thing. That's where I feel like a lot of our people on the leftist, realm kind of sit more in the theoretical and not on,
reality.
The real reality we're facing.
Right. Hard to say, man.
Like, I give you an example. Take a kid who they grow up to parents who are completely gang affiliated, rap sheets, records. They don't put that kid through school. That kid gets out. The only thing that kid knows how to do is how to hustle. That kid gets a little bit older and realizes in order to hustle and stay on the block, you got to use violence. You got to use crime. And then it's one thing when you're just doing that with people in the game. Then eventually it starts to move to people who are outside the game. You start, as they say, go after civilians. You're robbing people. You're assaulting people. You're doing all kind of other things. You're extorting people. Social services doesn't fix that. That's what I'm saying. You mean if somebody's already like I'm trying to find a way to I know of a person that knows of a person who this person has been convicted of killing almost 10 people. What do you do with that person? Because now at that point, this person, I know for a fact, this person at that point, if they feel the the need, I guess, air quotes, what they consider need, they wouldn't hesitate to kill a person again. What do you do with a person like that? What do you do with a person who's a serial rapist?
I mean, with death penalties, there's always that like risk of them being innocent. But if you're done something 10 times, it's like, well, do it like China does it to bankers, dude.
Well, even to lock them up, even to just lock them up. If you don't have some form, how do you lock them up without the police?
Yeah, true. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Prisons are like modern day slavery, so as long
I
can
agree.
just do the violent offenders, and just stop the war on drugs. And
yeah, because what is it, like 85% of people who are incarcerated are nonviolent offenders?
It's something half for black, I think.
And then you factor in how many times that the policing is just because you overly patrol a certain area. I mean, how many times that there are judges where they could have gave a person probation for this, they gave that person a 6-year sentence and they put them in a maximum security prison. Putting them in the maximum security prison, now you've gave them a strong possibility of their charges getting raised, because now you're putting them against more violent offenders that if they try to defend themselves when they get attacked, which more than likely they're going to get attacked, now they've just tacked on another 5, 6, 7, 8 years.
Right.
Now you've taken somebody who probably should have gotten some probation, community service for what they did, to now somebody who is possibly about to become a hardened criminal.
Yeah, I mean, that's some sad shit. Just you're forced to take a deal. Like you have to wait months in jail if you like want to like fight it out, or a year or two. So you have to like take a deal and like, okay, I'm not guilty, but like I'll take it. It's like, but then it's on your record for sure. And, yeah.
And then once it's on your record, how hard is it to get employment after you're out?
And just shameless plug. I was doing I do some book readings on my channel, and I was reading Prison Nation right now. I've only read like 2 chapters, but it's like a collection of like dozens of stories and around newspapers and magazines, and just a compilation of mass incarceration. So yeah,
it's a really good book. It's a really good book. I've read it. It's another book that I remember that's a little older than that one, and it talked about what was his name? The guy who was experimenting on prisoners. Man, he was experimenting on prisoners, and
dermatology guy.
Yeah.
He was like, I made a video.
Yeah. It led to a lot of the modern forgive me for not knowing these pharmaceuticals and stuff like that as well, but it led to a lot of different products that were created through companies, because he was studying on people's skin.
Exactly. Yeah. He's like, oh, hell yeah. Look at this. Like, look at this lab rats I can test on. I'm going to make bank. If
and he's
sick or die.
He had a comment similar to the one in that book. I can't remember who says it in that book, but basically talking about the acres of skin.
That's it. Yeah, that guy. Yeah.
Yeah,
and
man. So he saw it as, this is just wide open territory for me to fucking just experiment on people.
Yeah, medication, Haldol or something.
There's so much medication that came from that. Let me see. Is that the name, Joseph Mandeli? I don't think that's the guy. Let me see if that's him. I'll recognize his picture. I recognize his picture once I see him.
If you Google prison dermatology testing or prison testing, he'll come up. If you Google that.
Because I want to say Bausch and Lomb and all them, they use not Bausch and Lomb. What is it called? Let me see. I'll look it up right now. see, prison dermatology. I probably should be typing on my laptop, but I'm so used to using my phone over my
I think it was
It
in the
sure wasn't
70s.
Dr. Kevorkian. Yes, it was in the 70s. Oh shoot. Be quiet. It's a silver alert. Somebody's grandmother's wandered off. What is it? Let me look it up. Acres of skin.
Yeah. My mouse dies so fast, dude. I bought these batteries from like Goodwill and like they just crap out in a week. I'm gonna turn it off.
It was Holmesburg. It was during Holmesburg prison experiments. Okay, that's his name. Albert Kligman.
Albert Kligman?
Yes, in 1951. That's when this went on. This went on from 1951 into the 70s, I want to say.
Kligman?
Kligman, yep.
Acres
Albert
of Skin. There he is, yeah.
Yep, Albert Kligman. And this dude experimented all these people, and he his results, he gave that to a bunch of different companies, and they came out with like skin tan oils, like sunscreen, like stuff for acne, all kind of stuff. But he was jacking these people up. I don't know if you guys know, like he was like not like, oh, it sounds kind of simple because he helped with maybe some skincare treatments and things like that, but like this dude was cutting people's skin off. This dude was like putting forms of acid and stuff and like burning people, and like he was doing a lot of like twisted shit.
Some Nazi shit, man.
And they're like, oh, they're fucking prisoners, who cares? And that's why I'm like, I completely understand on the other side of it why people like start talking about abolishing prisons and things like that, because prisons are used for profit, and therefore sentencing a lot of times is about profit. Also, you have the unfair sentencing, but somebody asked also earlier my thoughts on qualified immunity. That's gone. If a police officer is found, a bad shoot, brutality, whatever, I say throw the book at that fucking cop. You are not going to be protected by the FOP. Fuck that. We are going to liquidate your assets. So you're going to think twice before you throw some woman on the ground and start punching her in the face repeatedly and think, oh, you're going to get that covered up. Also, for me, there would be a law in place that if you get convicted of doing something like this, or you show some kind of intense bigotry or prejudice or whatever, what was it, the Ashley Gonzalez is like, oh, when I go to work, then I'm making sure I'm locking up some black people and all that, and you get fired. There's no, oh, I'm gonna go 2 towns over and go get a fucking job there. Or what's her name, the lady who shot Botham John, she's out of jail already. Kim Porter, she's out of prison already. This and more than likely these people will literally, now once they get a felony, they don't let them go back, but when they just get suspended and then fired, a lot of these officers just move right on and get a job somewhere else in law enforcement. And for me, that really like hit home thinking about it, especially for California. I don't know how many people have been to California or understand how like LA County works. LA County is a large county with a bunch of cities in it. And so I can go on my walk, which I'll go on later tonight, and walk maybe say, let's say I walk 4 or 5 miles. I can walk from my city here over to 2 other cities in that 5-mile walk.
Santa Monica, Beverly Hills, West Hollywood, Los Angeles proper. I think Koreatown's just a little spot, but Culver City.
Yeah.
It's
But I
weird
mean,
how-
like, but like in
Yeah.
this area where I am, I won't say well, I won't say where I work or what city I work in, but the surrounding cities I drive around on a regular basis, like you have what, Bell, you have Huntington Park, you have Watts, you have Linwood, you have Long Beach, you have Southgate, you have Downey, all of these
Leimert Park.
areas, all of this is within like 10 miles of each other, all different cities. So you have different police force for all of these different places.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore you can get fired in, say, Huntington Park, and then go 3 miles over and get a job in Watts. A couple years down the road, you do something, you get fired in Watts. You can go 2 or 3 miles over, get a job in Compton.
Sheesh. Send him to the valley.
And so that's what I'm saying. You could
little farther,
literally
but yeah.
keep moving right around, as long as you're not sheriff's department where, okay, you're for the county. Now you'd have to move to another county.
Mhm.
But like in a city like this, you could run into that cop who brutalized you. A year down the road, after that cop has been fired, sued, all this stuff like that, be in the next town over in Downey and run into that same fucking cop again.
Sick shit, man.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So you walk 5 miles. Yeah, I'm trying to get in shape, bad cookies. I'm trying to lose some weight. So since I have a desk job now, I don't go over, like, I might hit 2,000 steps in a day. I try to push myself to hit 10,000 steps a day or more. So yeah, I will sometimes walk about that much. Not running, I'm not jogging, I'm just walking. May pick up my pace a little bit, but
Walk first thing in the morning, I hear, is like just amazing for your body. So
yeah,
I
but
heard.
I can't get up that early.
Dude, I did it this morning for the first time. Like, I've been going to the gym, but first thing in the morning, bro, I just can't.
Dude, I already get up at like 5 something in the morning. I'm not getting up earlier than that. I mean, my first alarm goes off at like 5:30. So
Yeah, I'm at 7, and that's early, man. Like,
yeah, I have to be at work at 7.
Mm-hmm.
But when you live in California, you got to get up early before the traffic, and pretty soon schools will start back. It just, traffic gets worse and worse. Like, I only live about 7.5, 8 miles from my job. It takes me on a minimum 30 minutes to get to work. Sometimes it's taken me 45 minutes to an hour to travel 8 miles.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm saying. Time wise, you ain't getting up that early to go do no walking. And then I have to get back and then shower and then change. Nope. Yeah. John got
sucks,
that.
man.
John said, I have an internal clock that wakes me up at 4 a.m. Yuck. No way.
Damn.
No way. I'm a night owl by nature. I am a night owl by nature. So if I can go in at 12 o'clock and work to 8, I'm cool with that, and stay up and watch TV and do whatever the hell I want to. I would far prefer that.
Hey, if it's cool, if you want to do like one more news headline and do the movies,
I'll do one more.
I got a meal prep and do some chores and stuff.
Okay. So the last major story I got, and then we can talk about some fun stuff. So there's an area in North Africa where they filmed the movie The Odyssey. That movie in that area that they filmed is because of stuff that has went on with the Spanish government that left that area vacant. And it has made it hard for people to be able to resettle that land. They allowed for filming to go on for The Odyssey in that area. This
Morocco?
area,
Which North African country?
Yeah. It would be right near Morocco.
Mm.
Now, a time back before, um, Netanyahu had a whole lot to say about Moroccan refugees and possibly sending them to Spain when Spain started criticizing a lot of stuff that was going on with the war down there
Mhm.
with them going into Gaza. And so when Spain was very much against Palestine, I mean not Palestine, but against the war in Palestine, um, Netanyahu started making a lot of these comments.
Uh-huh.
Now, weird how right after Spain wins the World Cup and they're really pushing the, pro-Palestinian message, all of a sudden this flood of Moroccans going into this Spanish territory that Netanyahu was talking about a couple of years, all of a sudden happens.
Interesting.
So
Very
I just wanted
interesting.
to kind of throw out that interesting tie that I'm like, I don't know how many people like even notice this or know about this story, but I thought it was kind of wild.
Yeah, the biggest blockbuster of the year is filming over there, or one of the biggest blockbusters.
Yeah, one of the biggest blockbusters, which, like I told you, as a movie guy, you need to be seeing this movie. You need to make sure that, or I don't know. Have you done a lot with Greek mythology and looked into Greek mythology over the years?
Not really, not since like high school, honestly, a long time.
Yeah, Greek mythology was my jam. So when it came out, I really was big on the movie.
You remember that one we watched in high school? But Vanessa Williams was in it, and it was like in the '90s, the Odyssey movie.
Oh, you talking about Troy?
No, like it was just called The Odyssey. It was kind of like a made-for-TV
I
movie.
might need to go back and rewatch that one. I think, what was it, like Armand Asante in there
Yeah,
too?
that one. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that was the one that was a little earlier that came out like 93 or something like that,
Yeah.
94.
Kind of want to watch
Okay,
it now just to see.
I want to go back and rewatch that one too because wasn't Vanessa Williams playing Calypso?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I need to go back and rewatch that because I
Just
was
compare the
always big
budgets,
on it.
like I'm sure that budget was so low compared to this one.
Well, yeah, I think they said this one was like 230 million or 260 million, something crazy like that. Which, the that you haven't seen it, I'll give you this one kind of, maybe you can tell this from the previews, but one thing which I heard a guy who was like he's big into mythology and movies and all that. One of the biggest gripes he had with it was that they're speaking in basically an American accents to a degree. And
Yeah, I
so
saw it a week ago, 10 days ago. Yeah, it was
oh,
just American accents basically.
Jackie says, which is one that holds more true to Greek mythology? I would say that 90s one with Vanessa Williams. I think that one is much closer. The even like Troy, one of my, even though I love Troy as an action film, my biggest problem with Troy is how much it took a lot of the mythology out. Like they really leaned away from like how much gods were involved in the faith of Greek mythology. Like
Mm.
there were various gods who had big roles that were going on, and like one god would prop up one champion, which would be Achilles, and then there was like the story of Jason that didn't really get told as much in there, and then I'm blanking on the Ethiopian commander, but he had a goddess who was propping him up also. And so you had gods who were choosing champions and fighting against them, and then eliciting power from other gods to overthrow a certain god's power. So it's like when even when Achilles like, and it doesn't even go into like, yeah, in Troy, he dies the same way, and some of the stuff like the battle with Hector is all the same and all that. But like the movie Troy, they focused a lot on it being all about Helen of Troy,
Mhm.
and she was a minor reason why that war happened. You know, the main reason why that war happened was because it was an extremely wealthy area and the Greeks wanted it. That's why the Greeks wanted it for the shipping lanes and the wealth of Troy. It really wasn't about, you know, I always forget his name, but Agamemnon's brother losing Helen to Paris. That's really wasn't the, and then it doesn't bring up like in the in Troy, Agamemnon dies before they actually get into Troy. He dies during the war when he actually survives all the way through the war and makes it all the way back home. And that part which they do in this movie, The Odyssey, they get that story, they nail that part 100% correct, which I would say this one is more accurate. But also Troy, in a sense, is two different movies than the Odyssey. Troy is everything that leads up to Troy and the war, whereas the Odyssey is catching up on the very tail end of the war, and then what happened on the ride home, what makes up the bulk of the Odyssey, the 20 years trying to get back home. So that's the part. Like for me, I would have loved to see like more of the gods whispering over their shoulders in either Troy or, you know, the Odyssey. I would have loved to see more of that. I would love to see that influence more directly. You know, Poseidon being upset and why he's rocking the seas and making their journey harder. I would have loved to see, you know, Apollo being more ticked off about, you know, certain things that happen in there. I would have loved to see the Cersei plot line more flushed out, whereas there's so much stuff. How do you jam all of this into a 3-hour movie? I would have preferred them split it into 2 movies, but
right.
And then they even changed, like, and you can kind of see this from the previews, but they make Matt Damon's Odysseus more like a guy with a lot of regrets and like more PTSD versus the Odysseus of the Iliad, which it was more about his hubris and his pride, and him having to reckon with the decisions he made. Not that he was all, you know, shell shocked from, you know, the deaths and all that stuff. It was reckoning with the decisions that he made. And they make Matt Damon's Odyssey character more noble, I want to say, in a sense, whereas the Odyssey of the Iliad is more of a mixed bag of nuts. He has his good side, he has his bad sides, he has some horrendous stuff he does, and it also shows, I think it's almost like it's just more seasoning to it, whereas this one's more bland. I would have loved for, you know, some of the mystical creatures in there to be more mystical. I know the scene which you guys see where these big giants in armor. And in the actual Iliad, they're not in armor, they're just big cannibal giants. And they're literally eating people in the Iliad.
I guess it's harder to do like practical effects, maybe, or makeup.
Oh no, they could do it if they wanted to. They just
feels like a cop out. They save it.
It is a cop out, and it brings me back to another frustration I always had with like Dan and Dave from Game of Thrones. They wanted to lean away from the mystical aspects of you know, fantasy books and movies and film, because they looked back at something like Willow and felt, that's a little cheesy. And so they avoided the mystical aspects of Game of Thrones or limited them in many ways. And I just hate if you take a fantasy, man, go for the full fantasy. Yeah. Stop fucking cheating us.
Yeah, they could have done more there.
This is something for the film nerds. You're trying to turn it into an action flick, and it's more of a drama than an action flick.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Nolan doesn't
so
have faith, I guess, in his abilities.
yeah,
It's always
I
blasting
mean,
that music, man. You can't slow it down and hang on to a shot or something.
and
It's
then
just
a
gotta.
lot of people were didn't like the casting, and they felt like, I don't like how they made a black Helena Troy, as if there were no black people in Greece. I mean, even back to that time period, I mean, there's evidence that there were black Mycenaeans and black Minoans, and also any of those hegemon societies back then were not, they were not one group of people only. There were always a mixes of people. And in the Iliad, they literally like mentioned the Ethiopians. So to try to make, why would the Ethiopians be in the war if they weren't black people who were fighting on behalf of the Greeks? So it's just weird how people look at it that way. I mean, even with the same with the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire had Arabs and had black people. I mean, Moors were not, they didn't just come to Spain, and they didn't just get there at the time of the Spanish, um, period. They were there, you know, always mixed into to society to a degree or not.
Mm-hmm. Hollywood crazy, whitewashing, and
I don't know. So I know I'm always blabbing. I'm always running my mouth so much. What are some of the film and book stuff that you're looking at that caught your attention that you'd like to throw out there?
you said you watched The Furious. I mean, shit, that was one of my
Yes.
favorites.
Oh yeah. Speak on it a little bit for those who have not seen The Furious. Highly recommend it. But yeah, go ahead. What your thoughts?
Yeah, just big time action choreography, man. Like some of the best in the game. Just excellent choreography, and the older I get, the less I like just brutal violence. But this film is a little violent, but it's all about the masterful choreography, man. It's like a ballet out there. So it's got a pretty decent story too for an action martial arts film, like the father trying to get his daughter back. So it's some good dramatics in there too. But yeah, so was it a Hong Kong film with the Japanese director? I forget, blanking right now. But yeah, it's definitely a must watch. One of my favorites this year. So, and one of your favorites this year too, I guess.
Oh yeah, definitely. Oh, to respond to Chris H, he said, bro, all the criticism of um, the casting and historical accuracy in the Odyssey was all cap. They didn't care about historical accuracy in Troy or 300. 1000%. Like I always forget, I always love this fact to mention. You guys know that for 300, Leonidas would have been like 60, 65 years old, or in that time period when he went on that march. And most of his guys would have been old as dirt too. They would have been like, 40s, 50s. There wasn't no like young whippersnappers running around with him for the most part. But anyway, back to the Furious. The I always love a good revenge flick.
Mm-hmm.
I always love when somebody's been wronged and they're on a mission, and it's straightforward. You're not trying to figure out what's done. You know clearly who the protagonist is, you know who the antagonist is, and they have a singular goal. And with this, another thing I thought was cool about it is the actor who plays the father in the Furious. He is the same kid who was in the he played Jet Li's son in a couple of movies. He was
Oh
the
shit.
Kung Fu Kid, and he was dope even back then. Um, as the Kung Fu Kid. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and to see him grow up and still be as great. Also, I think just like I told Ed, I said um, it reminded me a lot of the Raid, and you're getting
Mm-hmm.
a different style of fighting. Also, you had a mixture of fighting styles that I saw in the end. Um, you had
Yeah.
you had definitely you had traditional kung fu in there, but you had also had a form of Muay Thai and kickboxing that was going on from one of the fighters. Then from
Yeah.
another one of the fighters, you also had
The Indonesian cat.
you had Pinchot Salat that was going
Mhm.
on. So I like that you were seeing these multiple different fighting styles. I would even say maybe kickboxing and a bit of taekwondo that's mixed in there. You saw a very
Mhm.
diverse mixture of martial arts from guys who are at a very, very high level. And so when you have all these fighters that are at such a high level, they're able to, do stunts and choreography that is way, way more complex than the normal fight scene that you see, especially like, the last final
Excuse
fight
me.
scene that's going on where you got this guy who's fighting that guy while that guy is fighting this guy and he's fighting him also.
Mhm.
It was just so cool to watch. Some of the things I was like, I know that they didn't use strings on that one part, but how did he physically even make that move that he did? Like, my mind was just like, how was that even physically possible? What I just saw.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
mean, some of the stuff looked like you would have had to use AI to do it, but that these guys physically did it, and they were doing some of these fight scenes with no cuts, just straight through a grueling like 15-minute, unedited fight scenes. Just wild to see.
Yeah, that's definitely the long takes. Yeah, just minutes on end with no cuts. Yeah, that's really hard to do. Sure, you don't get that in the first cut. You have to redo it, and yeah, it's like 90% all practical, man. Like no bullshit. There's like some little snippets where they gotta like use a little CGI, very little,
Hmm.
but there's barely any of that. It's like the real deal. Yeah.
I mean, I guess the only thing you complain about, I could complain about, but it's a movie, so we gotta always keep this in mind. These guys are like always going to be a little extra superhuman. Like, there's no way you can take some of the impacts that you have and just
The big
keep
early guy.
fighting. Yeah,
It was
there's
more
some
of
of
a
this.
joke. It was pretty funny. He came back. Damn, he's Terminator or something. It's like
The big guy. I don't know how a big guy like that moves as fluid as he does, like, and as fast. He kind of reminded me a
Mhm.
little bit of Sammo Hong, but like
Yeah.
a more in shape, faster Sammo Hong,
He looks
like
bigger
more
too.
athletic. Well, he's bigger like height wise and probably
Mm.
muscularity, whereas Sammo Hong was, to lack of a better word, he was fatter.
Fatter. Yeah. That's
But
true.
for as fat as he was, it was amazing to see what Sammo Hong did. I mean, was able to do. The only person who I saw even compared to that is they had to put Scott Atkins in a fat suit and in the last John Wick movie to like replicate, Sammo
Yeah.
Hong didn't what he was doing in the 70s and 80s.
I like that nod. Yeah. That was a nice little nod. I think he was wearing like a suit that Samo wore in one of his older movies.
Hmm.
Yeah, that was a nice one.
Which
But
I'm kind of throwing back to older fighters. I would like to see them put what's his name? Bolo Yoon. His son is been trying to get into the action flicks these days too.
really?
And
Oh
and
shit.
he's big too. He's like his father, but he's more defined.
Damn. Bolo is a big hombre.
Hmm.
He's a big dude. Yeah.
You
Good
know,
stuff.
so there's oh yeah. Your thoughts on the new Black Panther. What do you think?
I mean, just today I saw that was it the third one's coming?
Yeah, I'm talking about they just casted a new T'Challa.
Oh, and they casted the dude. I just thought it got announced. Oh shoot.
No, no, David Johnson. He was in the Long Walk and Alien Romulus or the last
Oh,
Alien movie, the one that plays
the robot or a
yeah, yeah, that plays
cool.
yeah. He
I
he
like
is
him in that
officially
one.
yeah, he's officially the new T'Challa.
Very cool. Yeah, this is news to me. But I like that role in Alien Romulus for him. So I didn't see the long walk, but if it's him, that's cool. Good for him.
I couldn't. I didn't want to watch The Long Walk. The moment I heard the concept of it, I was like, nah, not for me.
Yeah, I didn't.
Don't want to watch a movie about kids walking down the street getting shot because they can't keep walking. No, not cool.
Right? Yeah, not a fan. Probably won't
It also
watch
makes
that.
it makes me wonder, like, what the fuck is wrong with Stephen King? Like, why do you just come up with some just your movies always got to do with like somebody like that's a kid or innocent getting harmed and maimed in weird ass ways. Like, it's like, do we need to check your computer, your laptop, see what you've been Google searching?
Yeah, like
We need to check your basement.
He's a shit lib too, man. Sad. Yeah.
I mean, you never know because I'm trying to remember. I didn't watch the show, but what was it, Seventh Heaven? The father on that wrote like a book or something about like this older guy who was like a real creep to young girls, and like trying to sexually assault them, and come to find out like later on that there were accusations that he did that in like his real life.
Damn, that's fucked up.
So you never know. Sometimes people are writing about this fiction that is really.
Where'd you come up with that?
Yeah, it's like, where is this coming
So
from?
many films writers are like, "Yep, this is all like my life's encounters and real people that I encountered, and my thoughts." But Accord Lord in the chat said Spielberg's Io Freak. Yeah, dude, I recently watched Disclosure Day. Oh no, Garbaggio.
Look at Bad Cookie said, "Go ahead. All you're gonna find on my search history is thick red bone twerk." Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeesh. Thick red bone twerks.
I couldn't. Yeah, I knew that about Steven Spielberg.
He invests in Israel and shit, and just the Hollywood propaganda machine in general.
I mean, do you guys know that Steven Spielberg did a documentary with Holocaust survivors and edited a lot of the stuff that wasn't like the over the top, like, sob stories. So any of the stuff where it was like, yeah, we used to play soccer with the guards, he like edited those videos out. He made sure to only keep in the stories of people who had the most brutal stories. And I'm like, I see what you're doing. The story is brutal enough. You don't have to take out the stories of people who didn't have brutality, because I to me, what that says is you felt like that would take away from the seriousness of the Holocaust. And I don't think, because there's a couple of one-offs where, this guard wasn't the most horrible person ever, would like take away from the severity of the Holocaust. And I felt it was always weird to me that he felt that he needed to just scour for only the most horrible stories he can find to put that in the documentary and not just have people tell their true stories.
Right? It makes a little sense just because October 7th, they have to pump out the fake Hamas atrocity stories, and like they're the oppressed, the Israelis. Like, don't say how the Hamas treated you in the jails or how they kidnapped you and treated you good. Like, they just totally disregard it because the Zionists are in charge. They gotta control the narrative. That's probably why Spielberg, he's a Zio, man.
Yep. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, it's coming up on 2 hours, so I'm gonna get ready to try to wrap this thing up. But that reminded me of what you said. I remember an Oprah Winfrey interview where she interviewed somebody who was in that Steven Spielberg documentary, and it come to find out that the story that this dude had been telling for all these years was a complete fabrication. Like, he was talking about how he was at the gate and he would bring this girl like an apple every day or something like that. And come to find out, like, he was never like at that gate. He was never bringing this girl this apple, none of that. And then how many of the people that were in that movie that were saying, yeah, and this was the last time I saw my father. And so I know more than likely that, he went to the gas chambers. Well, you start finding out that some of these people actually reunited with those same family members, like in New York, like years and years later. And what happened is
Man.
they got moved to another camp. And so it's not saying that people weren't having their whole families get obliterated. That was definitely
Right,
happening. I'm
right,
not
right.
making that claim, but some of the stories and interviews in there of people who gave this story about losing their whole family actually didn't lose their whole family. Their family just got separated because that's what they did. They put the women here, they put the men here, they put the kids here. Um, there was even a count in there about what was it? It was just many things that were brought up about his documentary that he leaned towards anybody whose story was over the top.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody who just had a story like, yeah, they would come in and, this person was sick and that person, we know that person died. And after that, they made us bury their grave. A story which is kind of like heart wrenching and all that.
Mm-hmm.
He threw those stories out for the stories of, I know that the most over the top stories that he can get, whether they were true or not. Now, some of them were true. Some of them had
Right.
stories like, when the SS rounded us up, they took everybody in our village and they just lined everybody up, sprayed them, and all dumped them into a ditch. And women were getting taken advantage of and all that. And some of those stories were like 1000% true. And like they found the bodies, were able to prove it 100%. Then there were certain stories in there where people were saying it was completely fabricated. It was a dude who made up all these stories and then went into Hollywood later on. And once they start doing like the timeline, they were like, it's impossible the stuff that he's saying is true because
Sheesh.
he wouldn't have been old enough to even remember some of these things. So I don't know. I just found it was just interesting. And to know that Steven Spielberg did that back in like, I want to say like the 80s when he made that. I already know what energy he was already on. And sad to say, most of Hollywood is that way, and that's the reason why so many of these people lose their jobs so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
By even saying, the most minimal criticism of Israel.
Yeah, man. Makes total sense. Believable, 100%.
But yeah, let's say before we get out of here, like what stuff do you have planned for your channels? Or you have channel, and I say your profiles, because I know you have two Instagram profiles. One I think is probably the more movie, and the other one's the gaming one.
Yeah, one's just a little bit of everything, my main, and then they have like a strictly a gaming one because I'm pissing too many people off, like talking a little bit of politics, just a little bit. But yeah, I have one just for gaming. But yeah, I'm all across social media though, man. Twitter, YouTube.
Good night, Jackie.
TikTok. Later,
But
Jackie.
that's why I'm eventually going to get back to doing bringing back my original channel and talking some other stuff on there, because I don't know, there's so much stuff that I want to comment on that doesn't necessarily fall within politics and news. And I figured that'll help the people who just want to hear me talk about that kind of stuff and don't want to hear my take on news and politics can just listen to me, on like relationship stuff. Like I just watched the video. I guess this is kind of more common where there are women out there going on first dates and then ordering a whole bunch of food for like 4 kids at home.
Yeah.
And I remember the days when, women would like a lot of times maybe have a side dude that they're talking to, or dude their ex or whatever who's living in the house with them, and they'll come home and share the food with that dude, and they're hooking up with him, and you don't know that you're actually paying for a meal for this other dude. But now women are just like more upfront, like they're eating their meal and they're ordering like 4 other, to-go plates, and like, oh well, if you're gonna take me out on a date, you need to pay for my kids too. And it's like some of those things I want to just comment on a little bit and talk about, and maybe that might be the only thing. It's not, it's going to be more short form. I'm gonna try to push for under, say, but 10 minutes, per video or whatever. But I understand trying to separate your content off.
Yeah, it's tough, man. But I gotta do it, dude. Just the misinformation and propaganda is just America's the most propagandized country in the world, man, and it's gotta stop. So I gotta do my part. So, you know, but yeah, I gotta get you on to talk movies. We can talk like our favorites, and then if we can sprinkle in a little bit of like, Zios in Hollywood, the propaganda, and spit a little truth, but have a lot of fun with talking our favorites or something. So.
Also, there's so much politics within some of these movies that I don't think like people even really think about that, should be brought up. I decided to put this on the screen because they were like, I didn't even know Gamer had a channel. Yes, he has a channel. Get over there and check out Ed's channel. And he's not only just talking about gaming and film and stuff. Sometimes he's reading books and over various different topics, and I think it's a cool channel. So, and then also if you're on Instagram, he's always putting stuff out on Instagram too. So definitely check him out and follow him there.
I'd be shit posting sometimes, but yeah.
Yeah, if you follow me, all you're gonna get is whatever I've been watching on my feed. I'm just sharing it with everybody. That's most of what I do.
I'm an owner of 3 cats. I got a lot of cat photos. But
I love cats.
But yeah, video games, film reviews, and I do book readings. The last 2 books I did, currently reading this one, but about mass incarceration. And I started reading one about the Sandinistas, and just I like learning about anti-imperialism and all the dirty wars the CIA's up to, and just spin a little truth. I do some news streams sometimes, but I haven't done those lately. But yeah, man, if you guys hate capitalism and hate the U.S. government in general, if you want to talk some shit, come on through to the channel.
And I see our good friend Lainey here. She says it was so great to see at the Political Matrix and at game.com on our special Friday night. Thanks again for joining us. It was such a pleasure. I mean, definitely enjoyed it.
That was a great time.
And I definitely want to have Lainey back on here again. I mean, I can't speak enough on how much I really enjoy like Lainey's content. I remember back when she was on am I blanking on the channel?
Undercurrent?
No. Before Heartlands. Back when she was on Heartlands, and I would normally catch Heartlands on my drive home from work, and I would watch the different segments, and Lainey would always have something dealing with like a consumer issue that would be way outside of like the wheelhouse of what I would that would be on my radar, that would make me have to look into different things. I'm like, wow, I didn't even know that they did that. I didn't know that was going on. Wow, that's messed up. They're really like doing this to consumers, and it would be so many things that I would see Lainey talk about that like really like open my eyes to different things. And so it was always really cool. Because of course with most of these other platforms, we're talking about similar things. Maybe we might have a different angle on it and viewpoint. But a lot of times we're all talking about similar things. So when you have somebody like Lainey who's bringing up something completely different, is always really cool. And then I did hear good news that Chicago Corner Election Times is going to be doing some stuff again. That'll be cool to see Kira back on the air doing some stuff. I was definitely sad when I saw Kira leave Heartlands, and I was actually sad to see Heartlands, like, them all start splitting up. When you're on the outside, you're just like, I like this person, I like that person, and you're not involved in the day-to-day, and everything doesn't always hold together. You know, doing this for I don't know how many years now. I've watched plenty of people who work together not work together anymore, and people who follow this channel have known that there have been co-hosts on here who, you know, for whatever different reasons, we've went our different ways, and I know some of you guys like some of the other co-hosts, and I don't hate anybody for, you know, liking this person or that person. You know, you guys don't have to take part in a beef because other people have a beef, and you don't have to be like, well, I'm team this person, screw that person. I ain't
It's
got
hard
no
to keep
problem
up
you.
with who's
Yeah.
beefing and who said what, man. It's like, I mean, whatever. It's hard to find all the dirt or what's true and what's not.
It's crazy. I'm gonna actually comment on this one, which I probably wouldn't have commented before. But at this point, who cares? Everything doesn't always hold together. Someone should have let RBN know that. The crazy part about it is the last thing I heard Nick say about RBN, it's wild to me because that is what I was trying to do. I was trying to have, like, he was looking to try to build this communist thing with communists who all were on the same page and all pushing for a singular objective. I don't have no problem with that. That's cool. You know,
Good
do what you
mutual aid
do.
stuff, man. That's
But
what I like about them.
But I can see from the outside starting in that you had a bunch of different people with different perspectives. That's what I always was trying to build, because I know I don't speak for what I view or value is not the same. And I know that the audience gets more out of hearing the diverse opinions. And so it's kind of wild to me that I remember trying to reach out to Nick to help build the platform that I was trying to build, and get all these diverse voices together, just to see Nick go and build that same platform of diverse voices when he was trying to go a different direction. I don't know. It's kind of weird. And it's like he was able to build out what was my goal to build. And so for that, I'm glad of what RBN was able to do for the people who were able to watch it and all that. But me personally, as long as we can all, you know, as long as we can all respect each other, I don't have a problem with, you know, the people who work with me having different viewpoints. I prefer it because I can learn to reimagine and look at my perspectives a little differently. And sometimes when you only have people who all think the same way, you get into a bit of a bubble and you start developing more blind spots. So, you know, just my thoughts on that.
Yeah, I don't know. Remember, it started like a couple of years ago. Jay Compton left, Compton Jay or something like that, and then there was like beef with the Feeney somewhat recently, and haven't kept up too much. But I like the mutual aid that RBN and Nick does on the ground. That's important.
Well, to answer this one real quick, yeah, but Michael, the perspective I have now is not the perspective I had back then. This was years and years ago. I've come to the standpoint of where I think and view now, as far as the whole communism thing, is just, I think, more time and more working within the system. I think as you understand how big this system is and how much power it is, you view it differently. And when you're just an organizer and you're thinking on a small level, you look at you have this bushy tail, bright eye optimism, and you don't understand like the true totality of the system and how powerful the system is, how strong the system is. And then also, in fact, what I'll do, Michael, if you have the time, you know, and this isn't to argue, I would love to have you come on to the show, and I'm just going to ask you questions and just you lay out your vision for what you see and how you would like to see it done. And I'm just going to ask because I'm coming at it from a more skeptical viewpoint. And I'm not saying that I don't believe certain things. It doesn't mean that I'm correct. So I don't know if you like to come on and you like to just explain out your perspective on how you believe said things can be accomplished. Okay. I don't know if you'll change my mind, but I think that it would be. I think it'll be beneficial for the people who are listening to be able to hear it out and to hear out the perspectives from the pro and from the person who's a little bit more skeptical and who has questions. And yeah, I think that's what it is.
Cool.
But yeah, on that note, I mean. Well, I think another thing with their problems is they had to deal with money and control and things like that. And there's a lot of issues going on with them. I think they're a case study to be made, but I mean, nonetheless, I still wish all of them, luck and success in whatever they try to do and whatever they put their hands to, and still respect and love to the people who I deal with. But yeah. I'll leave it at that. Oh, I'd never have Candace Owens as a moderator to anything. I think the woman's insane. I think she's insane.
Absolutely.
I would have Ed, somebody like Ed as a moderator. He would. I think we both listen to. Actually, I wouldn't need a moderator because I'm not even going to argue anything back. I'm just going to ask questions and let it lead from there for the most part.
I'm a peacemaker. I keep things calm.
But yeah, like I said, I'll try. I wasn't gonna try to keep you any longer. I think we covered. Did we plug everything you needed to plug?
Yeah, man. GameDotFilm all across any social you can think of. But I guess I'm an anti-capitalist, anti-imperialist variety streamer. I stream games. I try and support the smaller companies. Not the big conglomerations, big corporations, and film reviews, do book readings, maybe some news readings here and there. And I like physical media too. I'll show off my movie collections and game collections. And if you guys want to just talk some shit while having some fun, find me. I'm out there.
Yeah, one of these days I want to do what they did over there, having a big panel and inviting all you guys over to. I don't know, figure out a topic and bring you guys all on to talk about it. All right. I guess that is it. Well, thank you everybody in the chat. Thank you for joining us. Again, if you guys have any things that you want to always talk to us about, reach out. I'm sure Ed is very approachable and easy to get a hold of if you want to talk to him, and I am also, and so is Teal. I'm sure she'll be back next week. And anybody who that might want to collab with us, tell them to reach out. I mean, I'm very happy to have anybody on the show. Well, mostly anybody. I'm not going to say everybody, but. And if it's anybody who has a different perspective than myself, who just like to discuss things out with somebody who tries to be an honest actor and would hope that you be an honest actor, to have them reach out. That said, this has been the Political Matrix. I'm your host, Marcus Young Morpheus Cage, and hope you guys have a wonderful, blessed rest of your weekend and a great week. We out.
Peace.
There is discrimination in this world, and slavery and slaughter and starvation. Governments repress their people. Millions are trapped in poverty, while the nation grows rich, and wealth is lavished on armaments everywhere. These are differing evils, but they are the common works of man. They reflect the imperfection of human justice, the inadequacy of human compassion, our lack of sensibility towards the suffering of our fellows. But we can perhaps remember, even if only for a time, those who live with us are our brothers, that they share with us the same short moment of life, that they seek as we do, nothing but the chance to live out their lives in purpose and happiness, winning what satisfaction and fulfillment they can.